Hi, folks. It's Will with Yoga at Your House, and I want to talk about a stretching practice as a way to feel great. Over the last couple of years, I have converted my 20-year yoga practice into a stretching practice, and I feel better at age 50 than ever. I have no daily aches and pains. And when one pops up, I have a plan to stretch it out. I have muscle response and control and definition that I didn't have before. I have peace of mind that I have a routine that will adapt to my body every single day as I get older. And my goal is to get you feeling that way without taking 18 years to do it. You can 100% start today. So here's my quick start guide to a stretching practice. Focus on the feeling, not on the pose. It doesn't matter what the pose looks like, it matters what it feels like. We're going to use poses to create feelings in the body instead of doing poses to make shapes with the body. As soon as you feel the therapeutic stretch, you're doing it perfectly, no matter how deep or not you are in the pose. In that sense, there's no such thing as I can't do that pose. In a stretching practice, the question becomes, can I use this pose to make a new feeling somewhere? And the answer is yes. Even if you're just slightly leaning in the direction of the pose and you make a stretching sensation, that is enough. Move through the poses with that feeling as a goal. Just enough to tell you when you're making a difference in your range of motion and your blood circulation. Give yourself a little mental high five for it, and then move on to the next. You are 100% flexible enough to stretch. You can stretch right now while you're listening to this. Spread your fingers out wide or raise your eyebrows a little more than normal until you feel it. Moving a part of your body to create a new therapeutic range of motion for a muscle is stretching. A stretching practice is just organizing those feelings in a way that leaves your muscles and your joints and your whole self feeling better than before. What a stretching practice is not is going hard or endurance. That's not part of a stretching practice. If you feel tired after a pose, then we need to change something. Intense cardio or calorie burn is not part of a stretching practice. Do something else that you like for those things. But with this light engagement, high repetition approach, you'll feel the difference and see the changes in places where you're tight, and that's where it counts. What I've learned about what a stretching practice is stretching equals strengthening. When you make a new stretch feeling, you're activating muscles in a new way in order to create that feeling. You're reawakening muscles that you already have and deepening your brain to body connection. So you get stronger at the same time that you're improving your range of motion and your blood circulation. So it's very efficient. Wobbling equals strengthening. When you're trying to balance on one leg and rocking around to keep from falling, your brain is figuring out which muscles to fire up to keep you steady. So my balance is terrible just means your brain needs more wobbly time to organize your muscles. So wobble away and give the brain a chance to make your legs stronger. Stretching equals better breathing. We all know we need to breathe more deeply to keep calm. But knowing that and intending to do that doesn't always lead to actual breathing improvement beyond maybe a few deep breaths. Why? Because as soon as our brain quits thinking about breathing and it goes back to autopilot, we only breathe as deeply as the flexibility of our rib cage and the breathing muscles there will allow. So if you want to breathe better without having to think about it, target those muscles to stretch. Stretching equals brain power. When you're making a stretch feeling, your mind must be totally engaged. You can't fake a stretch feeling. But you can fake a yoga pose. It is totally possible to do a yoga pose on autopilot when you're not really feeling anything, or worse, avoiding feeling anything just to hold the pose. I did that for many years. Concentrating on making a stretch feeling guarantees a mind-body connection. If you add up enough of those little brain-to-body signals, you'll finish knowing yourself much better. Stretching changes with you. If you're tired that day, you can stretch. If you don't have much time, you can stretch. If you're stuck in a chair, you can stretch. If you used to be flexible, you can stretch. If you've never been flexible, you can stretch. If you're old, you can stretch. If you're stressed, you'd better stretch. If you're injured, you can stretch maybe other body parts while the injury heals. If your body doesn't work the way it used to, you can stretch. Stretching is your brain thanking your muscles for temporarily holding stress away from the brain. In life, we let tension build up in the shoulders and tightness form in the hips and restrictions close in our rib cage, so the brain can keep thinking about what we're doing and not about how we're feeling. And a stretching practice repays that favor and rebalances that energy from the brain back to the places where we held the tightness. It makes us feel more centered and more complete. So in that way, I guess it sounds like a yoga practice after all. So come stretch with us at yogaatyourhouse.com. We'll get you stretching to feel great. Thanks, y'all.